Hi, welcome. It's time for my town hall and campaign update for today, May the 4th. And my name is Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki. I am a candidate for president from the 2024 election. And as you know, I think it's fraudulent and manipulated, and I have a lawsuit pending with the Supreme Court. But welcome to this town hall. So, thanks for being here. And if you have any questions, please join in and put them in the comments or contact me directly. And if you want to talk online, you can do that too. Although I'm still trying to figure out Facebook and how it works, but sometimes it seems to work that people can join me. So, greetings from Switzerland. I am overseas in a foreign land and letting the people here know that my vote was not counted. My U.S. citizen vote was not counted in the past election. And I say shame on the Democrats and the Republicans because they were both involved in it. And they're working together to manipulate our elections. So this is unacceptable. And I have a lawsuit pending with the Supreme Court, so I call upon the Supreme Court to rule in my favor, and let's get the ball rolling for a new election. Because what we have had in the past is unacceptable. It is taxation without representation. It's what our country was founded on. It's why we left England. And is that, if we can't do it through the law, then we might have to sadly take up other means. But for right now, I have put forth a lawsuit. I'm waiting for the Supreme Court. You know what to do, Supreme Court. It's up to you. We're waiting. So, anyways, it is May the 4th. And so I wish us all I wish us all that the 4th be with us. It's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. And I just saw the first Star Wars, which I saw as a teenager. And it was very inspiring to me to see a woman in a character like that, defending and fighting against the evil government that was around. And here I am, although I'm not a brunette anymore, now I'm blonde. I am the acting Princess Leia, for the lack of a better way of putting it. I am fighting the evil empire known as the Democrats and Republicans. So shame on you. Shame on you for stealing our votes. I don't know if I ever, I guess the one in New York in 2020 maybe even though I didn't have to show an ID to vote in New York City, which was shocking for me. I just had to know where I lived and what my name was. So I voted in New York. So that could be like one that actually in New York City, that could be like the last time. That was 2020 when my vote was really counted. And then it might have been, before I left for Switzerland, which would be like in 96, whatever that election was. 98, maybe, could have been 98, because I think I left the U.S. after November 2nd in 98. But anyways, it is time to live up to our reputation of caring, of being legitimate, of having integrity, of fighting the good fight. Whatever happened to that, Democrats and Republicans? Shame on you for what you've done to our country. So may the 4th be with us. is what I want to say. Okay, so I posed a question this week because I've been really toying with this idea. What is barbaric? What is civilized? Up until now, civilized means that you know how to use a knife and a fork, and you can drink a glass of wine with meal, and you have like a wine glass and a water glass, and you have like a soup spoon and a fork and a knife and a steak knife, and you have a butter knife, and you have a dessert spoon. And so this is supposedly civilization, right? And you should wear a suit and tie, and ladies should wear a dress when they go to such an event. That's civilized, right? Oh, and you're not supposed to swear. That's civilized. What else is civilized? What else is civilized? And then barbaric. What is barbaric? Barbaric is like eating with your hands, eating in the dirt, eating off, a plate that everybody shares. What else is barbaric? I mean, there's disgusting too, but, yeah. So, anyway, you get my point. So, civilized is using all these dishes too at a meal. So, there's lots of food produced at a civilized lifestyle. And you don't really eat it all sometimes because it's too much. And then there's a lot of cleaning up to do because you got to clean all that silverware, all those glasses, and all those dishes, right? And then you got white tablecloths that need cleaned and napkins that need cleaned. And so how are you going to clean them? You're going to use chemicals, right? And you're going to put those chemicals in water. And you're going to clean all of that. Well, is that really civilized? And then we have people, who go out and have these meals, and then the next day they go to work and they're like, hey, we got to clean water. It's terrible that certain places don't have clean water, like Flint, Michigan, and other places. But yet, in our town, just a few towns away, we eat like this, and we clean our food, and we put all these chemicals back into the water. So I recently, just to add to this story, I recently was working on maybe putting in like a septic tank somewhere because there's a water line but no sewage line. So then the septic is up to the individual. And to flush a toilet into a septic tank, it takes minimum 2 gallons of water. So you pay for the water, and then the water is used. Hopefully you don't have clogged pipes. Otherwise, that's a whole nother story. And if there's too much calcium in your water, you might want to get a filter. So, there are all these issues. And then at the same time, in a lot of these places where you're getting water feed and then you have a septic tank, they don't let you use rainwater because they can't charge you for it. So, I think we have to think about what is barbaric and what is civilized. And this has been my question for the last couple of weeks. I've been trying to lead up to this because I think it's kind of silly. We have health departments saying that, this is not possible, you can't do that. But our forefathers used to go to the toilet in a little bin at the base of their bed and, in like a pot. That's where the famous pot to piss in, do you have a pot to piss in? came from. So I think we need to, at least in the U.S. and maybe in other places, start really thinking about what is considered acceptable and hygienic and what is not. Now, we have a lot of places where we can dump our waste nowadays. And so, I don't see why I have to have pipes leading to or from anything. I can simply do my waste, put it in a container, and I can recycle it myself, or I can give it someplace to be recycled into fertilizer, because it's fertilizer. And then there's no water involved. Then I also don't have to unclog a toilet with like Drano and other things. So I don't have to put more pollution into the system either. Therefore, the water is not contaminated. Therefore, water is drinkable. And I mean, if I could really even collect rainwater and use it in my own house, then I don't have to be on the water system, which would save me money at a time when money is tight because people aren't, salaries are not moving with inflation right now. And it's a big problem in the US. So I call on all health departments. I guess I call on Kennedy to listen to what I'm saying. And maybe we need to open the door to other sewage possibilities and provide that for the local communities. Maybe we need a general septic tank, or not a septic tank, but a sewage system where instead of having pipes going to all the houses, which would waste a lot of money, we can have a special place where things can be transported. So you collect it at home and then you take it there. And or you keep it at home and you turn it into fertilizer. There's got to be a better way than to always use water to wash away waste through our pipes. It just seems like a waste of time, a waste of water. When, we have people who need to move, who need to get some exercise. So what's wrong with putting a lead only locally at the end of every street? And then people have to once a week move their waste down there, or maybe every 3 days, and then it's taken care of. So there's got to be a new way. I mean, I recommend that people with a yard, that they keep their waste and they use it as fertilizer. Of course, liquid stuff can be used in a different way, but I think we're not thinking about all the possibilities. And I'm saying this because I am living in a rural area now, and there are many possibilities. There's outhouses and other things of that nature. So I think the Kennedy and public health needs to come forward and think about this. Of course, in the cities where you've got big buildings, there's a different standard that's needed. So that I agree with. But when you're living in a house with a yard, there are other ways that we can live. I think is trying to join me. Let's see if it works. They seem to have disappeared. Maybe. I don't know. So anyways, yeah. And then rainwater. Some places won't even allow you to use rainwater, but I have no problem and no issue with having rainwater installations put on top of large buildings and then also at your homes. It's very simple. I have neighbors who use rainwater for their water system because where I live, we're very out in the rural areas, and it works. They have water, and it's usable. So, um, folks, in this case, we've been taken over by unions who are trying to keep their jobs, of course, but, nobody worried about my job when they introduced computers with paste ups and mechanicals, and nobody worried about my job when they introduced cameras and videos into the courtrooms and displaced a lot of courtroom artists. So nobody cared about artists during those times. So why should I care about plumbers? Why should I care about people putting in plumbing and sewage? I don't. I care about as much about your situation as mine when I was being displaced, how much you cared about me. So I think it is time that we stop this union control of our country. I think we have plenty of unions in control, and I don't think it's necessary. And I think some people need to learn other trades. Period. It's unnecessary. Rainwater is perfectly useful, and sewage is useful for fertilizer. Why should we give it to somebody else to turn into fertilizer to sell it back to us? It's really not necessary. Plus, I have been, how can I say this? No. When I was in junior high, we had Model UN, and I chose Ethiopia as my country to represent. It was a quiet country, not doing much, and so I did what I needed to do for the Model UN. And at the end, we had to prepare food. So I prepared food, and I learned that they ate from the same plate, and they used bread to eat with. It's a special bread called injera, and you eat with your hands. There's no utensils involved, so less cleanup. There's only one plate, less cleanup. So anyways, ever since then, I've been enjoying Ethiopian food, and it's very good. It's sort of, they say it's like stew. It is stew, but it's a very thick, pasty stew with lots of flavor. And they use, normal ingredients that U.S. citizens know. So it's not like you're eating something that you're not sure what it is. You can figure out if it's chicken or beef or lamb or fish or lentils or potatoes or salad or something like that. It's all recognizable. But instead of using knives and forks, you use your hands. And you use this bread. It's a spongy type bread, so it soaks up. And you have bread to eat with, and you have bread that is like a napkin. And so it's it reminds me nowadays, now that I, experienced it more, it's sort of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where, they go into the chocolate factory and everything is edible. Well, it's like that, but it's not sweet, but it's very tasty. So anyway, There, you even eat the napkin. You eat sort of the plate. You eat, you know, the bread with the stew type ingredients, and they're usually made fresh and very healthy ingredients, and usually have a little bit medicinal purposes where they clean out some things, and it's in general it's good for your food. So I think ultimately at the end there's only one plate and one glass to clean up if it's done properly, which is really earth friendly. Democrats, it's earth friendly, and it's you know, yeah, it's safer for humans. It's less pollutants in the water. It's less water usage because there's only one plate, and it's just beneficial. So when I ask, what is civilized and what is not civilized, what is barbaric, it could be that using in this day and age where everybody's complaining about dirty water and too much chemicals and pollution and everything, point the finger back at yourself. I think that's what I'm really saying. Especially those of you who use multiple forks, multiple knives, multiple spoons, multiple plates, and multiple glasses for eating. Just one meal. You do it 3 times a day. That's a lot of dirty dishes. So I suppose what I'm really saying is think about it. What is civilized and what is barbaric? And I suppose Kennedy, maybe this falls into your category too. Maybe this is something for you to think about in regards to my other issue as well with water. We have water on the planet, and in some cases, it's not being allowed to be used. And this is unfair. Why should we not harness rainwater? Why should we not use solar panels? Why do we have to have so many electronics? And why do they all have to be plugged in at the same time? There's a lot of bullying going on by the local governments. We're being forced to use certain, they call them public utilities, but they're profit utilities. And sadly, the profit is not going to the government or the town. Or if it is, it's just going into a town's official pocket and not going back to the public. So we need to work more as a community on the local level. And these things need to come back to the community rather to go into somebody's pocket. Profits should be returned to the people, not going into the CEO's pocket. Anyway, my recommendation is to train inspectors in the knowledge of different techniques from around the world, of how to deal with sewage and how to deal with pollution and so on and so forth. Then we need to train apprenticeships to install or inspect and test out systems to make sure they're working properly. This I would agree with. But I think we need to give the public, especially in this time of inflation, more flexibility with their housing and usage needs. Because I think to force people into installing ridiculously oversized systems that are not necessary is not neighborly, it's not acceptable, and it doesn't have to be that way. That's the big part. It doesn't have to be that way. It's our country. It's our state. It's our town. It's our county. We are the people, and we should have some flexibility. It's up to you, the inspectors, to know what is cleanly and what is not. That part you can decide, especially in closer knit communities. But if you've got acreage, the flexibility should be a certain amount. If you've got a half of an acre or a quarter of an acre, it should be a certain amount. And of course, if you're living in an apartment building, that's a whole different scenario. So, but to try to paste one thing onto everybody, I think that's the problem. One size does not fit all. USA. One size does not fit all. And with what I said before, the amount of garbage produced by takeaway containers, disposable everything, it's obscene. It's just obscene. Right now, sadly, we don't have a lot of choices because of our lifestyle. But I hope to be bringing a new lifestyle to our country. And then we will really be able to go back to living less on a temporary way and more on a earth-friendly, water-friendly way. In a new way. So I don't think I have more to say. That's my part of my earth-friendly way forward concept. It's just part. And it's just something I've experienced lately and or been experiencing for a long time, for some of it, for the water and the eating wise. And yeah, reform is coming. Donald Trump has started the way, and I think I have some ideas to contribute. So let's see what happens. We are working towards a better USA, a healthier USA. All right. So I guess that's it. I think that's enough for now. We have a lot to think about, I think, between what is civilized and what is barbaric. And, you know, creating a lot of pollution is barbaric, in my opinion. I don't know about you. So, my name is Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki. I am still a candidate for the 2024 election. I have not conceded the seat yet, so I'm waiting for the Supreme Court because I have a lawsuit pending, and hopefully we'll find out something soon. Anyway, if you want to find out more about me and my campaign and my platform and other things, go to my website, susan4usa.com. That's Susan the number 4, USA.com. But you can also Find me on Facebook, which is where I'm most active, on this Facebook page, probably wherever you are. Or YouTube is a good place. And also, I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, and X. I think that's about it, but that covers most of them. So have a look. Let's see. I have over 500 videos. I started running for president in 2020, and then again in 2024, and I ran for Congress in between in 2022. So there's a lot out there about me, and you can find out what you have time for. All right. And if you have any questions or comments, you leave them in the comments or response area, and let me know your thoughts. All right. Thank you for stopping by. I wish you a good day or evening wherever you are. Bye for now.